RFI.fr.
This is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our one-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Japan. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro Channel 1. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on TuneIn and via satellite Eurosat 16A on 11,512 MHz, vertical polarization, azimuth 16 degrees east. Symbol rate 29,950 megasymbols per second. Standard DVB-S2. Modulation ABSK. Audio PID 510. We wish you good reception conditions.
Hello, I'm Cristina Matescu, Romanian. Today's headlines. The Romanian government has extended the state of alert by a further 30 days, but has eased the restrictions over the upcoming Orthodox Easter. The National Committee for Emergency Situations has updated the list of countries with a high epidemiological risk. And Romania stands with the royal family and the British people in this time of sorrow. Tweeted Romanian President Klaus Iohannis on finding out about the passing of Prince Philip, the husband of Queen Elizabeth. Romania is on a downward trend in terms of the number of infections with the novel coronavirus, with less than 5,000 confirmed cases on Friday. At 1,496, however, the number of patients in intensive care is still high. 134 new deaths were also recorded on Friday. On Thursday, the government extended the state of alert in Romania by a further 30 days, but announced restrictions will be eased for the upcoming Orthodox Easter, so that people can attend the Easter service in church. Some restrictions are also eased for Muslims during the Ramadan. So far, over 2.2 million people have been given at least one shot of the COVID vaccine in Romania. The National Committee for Emergency Situations has updated the list of states and territories with high epidemiological risk. Travelers arriving from these countries are required to enter a 14-day quarantine. 44 states are on the list, including France, the Netherlands, Hungary, Moldova, Ukraine, Bulgaria and Turkey. Quarantine is not required for arrivals from Greece, the UK and Germany. The decision takes effect from the 13th of April. Romania stands with the royal family and the British people in this time of sorrow, tweeted Romanian President Klaus Iohannis after hearing about the passing of Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, the husband of Queen Elizabeth. The royal family of Romania conveyed their unspeakable sadness at the news and recalled in a Facebook post that Prince Philip and King Michael, who were born on the same year, were cousins and maintained a lifelong friendship. All generations in the Romanian and British royal families have been close, but for today's generation, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip remain as spiritual models, fundamental sources of inspiration. The post also reads, Prince Philip died aged 99, Buckingham Palace announced on Friday. The death came 3 weeks after the prince was released from hospital, where he had been treated for a month for an infection and then a heart problem. He was with Queen Elizabeth in some of the most challenging moments of her 69-year-long reign, the longest in British history. Born in 1921 in Corfu, in Greece, Philip was also Prince of Greece and Denmark. He became a British citizen in 1947 and gave up his claim to the Greek and Danish thrones. He married the future Queen Elizabeth on the 20th of November 1947 at Westminster Abbey. He served in the Royal Navy until Elizabeth became Queen in 1952. From then on, he accompanied her on her official and public duties and was also involved in many charitable causes. Romania sent 310,000 protective masks to Serbia to help the authorities in this neighboring country cope with the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. The masks are part of a strategic medical equipment reserve set up at EU level in the context of the sanitary crisis. This reserve is hosted by a number of European countries, Romania included. The medical equipment was purchased by Romania based on a €10 million loan signed with the European Commission. A convoy of the Arad Inspectorate for Emergencies is ensuring the transport. Its cost will be entirely covered by the Commission for the EU's Civil Protection Mechanism. The National Anti-Corruption Directorate has requested the Senate to greenlight the prosecution of the Social Democratic Senator Florian Bodog. The request is now in the Senate's Legal Committee, which has until Monday to make a preliminary assessment of the document. According to anti-corruption prosecutors, during his tenure as minister, Bodog arranged for a person employed as a personal advisor to receive her salary rise for a period of 12 months without actually going to work and without performing the activities required by the job. Romania recorded a trade deficit of €3 billion in the first 2 months of the year, up €455.9 million as against the same period of 2020, according to the National Statistics Institute. Between January the 1st and February the 28th, 2021, exports accounted for almost €11.2 billion, while imports stood at €14.2 billion. Exports went down by 3.7%, while imports went up by 0.2% compared with the same period last year. And that was the news.
Romania will carry out its vaccine rollout with the AstraZeneca vaccine without any age restriction. I am Daniel Bills on the microphone with a report by Stefan Stoica. A sluggish vaccine rollout or giving up vaccination altogether can make both us and those around us to face some severe forms of infection. Furthermore, they can undermine that community immunity which we are struggling to achieve in order to contain and do away with the toxic effects of the present pandemic. The statement was made by military physician Valeriu Gheorghiță, in charge of Romania's vaccine rollout, at the end of a working meeting upon which the authorities decided to carry on the national vaccination program by using the vaccine produced by Swedish-British group AstraZeneca. The vaccine has sparked a heated debate across Europe after the discovery of some rare cases of blood clots in some patients. The Romanian authorities' decision was influenced by the major risk posed by the COVID-19 infection.
Așa cum s-a susținut de către Agenția Europeană a Medicamentului, precum și de către Centrul European de Control al Bolilor Transmisibile, boala COVID-19...
As the European Medicines Agency and the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control put it, the COVID-19 infection is associated with a significant risk of hospitalization and death, including through thrombosis. On the other hand, the blood clots that appeared in some patients post-vaccination are an extremely rare phenomenon, and the overall benefits of vaccination outweigh the risks. As a conclusion, against the present epidemiological background in Romania, it is important that vaccine rollout be carried on with all the doses available and at higher parameters. It is very important that a higher percentage of the population get immunized as soon as possible in order to curb the negative effects of this pandemic. Physician Valeriu Gheorghiță has given assurances the authorities in the field and medical experts in Romania are permanently monitoring with responsibility and care all the available scientific data over the safety and efficiency of the AstraZeneca vaccine and the other vaccines authorized. According to Gheorghiță, drug safety mechanisms across Europe are fully operational, and we must have confidence that experts with the European Medicines Agency are closely monitoring all the side effects reported. Asked about the ECHR announcement that compulsory vaccination may be necessary in democratic societies, Gheorghiță denied that the Romanian authorities have considered this aspect, adding that in Romania, vaccination is free Voluntary and done with vaccines authorized by the European Medicines Agency.
The government approved a 30-day extension of the state of alert in Romania. More in this commentary written by Roxana Vasile. The government of Romania decided to extend the state of alert in the country by another 30 days, beginning on Tuesday, the 13th of April, to contain and mitigate the COVID-19 pandemic. In other words, all the measures already announced in Romania remain in place. From mandatory face covering, both outdoors and indoors, to physical distancing, indoor restaurants, theatres and cinema halls are closed. Night curfew is in place between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. In places with infection rates above 1,000, the curfew begins at 8 p.m. at the weekend and shops close at 6 p.m. These measures apply throughout the week in places where the infection rate is above 7.5 per thousand. Gyms are also closed if the COVID infection rate is over 4 per thousand, to be opened when the figure drops below 3.5. The only concessions made by the authorities have to do with the religious holidays celebrated these days. After Catholic Christians were able to enjoy an almost normal Easter holiday, the Jews in Romania were able to attend the Passover ceremonies. Orthodox Christians will also be able to travel without restrictions on Resurrection Night, celebrated on the 1st of May. Unlike last year, when service attendance was prohibited. Muslim believers were not overlooked either, with the government allowing them to move freely on the night of the 8th of May when they celebrate the Ramadan. On the other hand, traditionally, May Day is the start of the holiday season in Romania's Black Sea resorts. Given that for the past year, the hospitality industry has suffered severely because of the COVID-19 containment measures, this year the government decided that seaside resorts may open at a maximum of 70% of their accommodation capacity and in full observance of relevant regulations, just as it is the case at present with mountain resorts. The Interior Minister Lucian Bode has recently traveled to Constanța, the biggest Romanian city on the Black Sea coast, to warn police and gendarmes that their mission during the Easter and May Day weekend will be particularly difficult, as lots of tourists will be coming to the seaside. Health is paramount, the minister cautioned, so the police must do everything in their power to ensure restrictions are observed. And that wraps up today's newscast on Radio Romania International. Don't forget that you can also follow us online at rri.ro and on Facebook.